want to thank all you guys for coming out to the call tonight. This is my weekly Here to Help You webinar. I do these every week just to come on here and do some sort of a presentation or a demo and answer you guys' questions. I take the answer questions I got in the emails since the last call, and then I'll take your guys' questions after that. There's generally nothing for sale here at these calls. These calls are just for you guys, just to give you an opportunity to learn something new and ask any questions that you might have, and I'll do my best to answer them here on the spot. So with that being said, there's a few things we're going to do tonight. The training I have for you tonight is a request that was made several weeks ago. Actually, I've had requests for it a couple of times. I talk about Amazon S3 quite a bit, and I had a request to do an Amazon S3 training, and I didn't really have time to put together a full training on it, but I did find a really good video by a friend of mine, Tim Carter, on Amazon S3, so I thought I would play that for you guys tonight. It's a really good basic training on Amazon S3 and what you can do with it. So we're going to go through that tonight, and then I've got several questions from where we didn't have a webinar last week because I was tied up with other things. So we got several questions to go over, and then we'll take your guys' questions after that. So let's do our Amazon training first.
In this video series, you're going to learn how to use Amazon's simple storage services, or as it's more commonly known, Amazon S3. Now, the reason you might want to use Amazon S3, and the reason most people use it, is because you can store large amounts of data, and you can also access large amounts of data for a very inexpensive price. The reason this is advantageous is because of the large size of files these days. With the advent of internet video and audio, the files can get quite large, so many people want to offload them from their hosting account for performance reasons. By using Amazon S3, you can have your main website running off of your everyday server and have your files on the Amazon S3 server. And what this does is it allows your website not to get bogged down with file downloads. If you have a high amount of traffic coming to your website and a lot of people going to download products after they purchase them, this is a good solution because you don't have to worry about your website bogging down if you're doing a big launch or something like that. Now, Amazon S3 is meant really for storing and accessing your files. It does not have a lot of bells and whistles like a normal hosting account. And that is why people use it just for file storage, because that's really all it's meant for. Amazon themselves use the S3 service to store their own files for their own sites. So if they have confidence in their servers to store all of their data, then you certainly should have the same. Now, Amazon S3 service is also very inexpensive. Really, it's just pennies a gigabyte for data storage and very low fees for bandwidth, so it's a reasonable solution. Okay, now of course your first step is going to be to set up an Amazon S3 account. And you can do that from amazon.com/S3. Now if you already have an existing Amazon account, you can use that, and when you sign in using that account, you'll be told that you have to set up an Amazon Web Services account. And just go ahead and continue at that point. If you don't have an Amazon account, you can just click up here to create an AWS account. That stands for Amazon Web Services. Next page you get is just an overview of the prices of data transfer and data storage at the time that you're signing up. At the bottom it'll show your payment processors that you already have on file. Then you can add any others down here if you want. And click continue. Then you just review your selections. You can also add their premium support if you want that. Then just click complete sign up. At this point you'll get a welcome email, and in that email they're going to tell you that you need an access web key in order to send valid requests to the Amazon S3 service. Once you click on the link in your email, you'll come to this screen, and this explains a little bit about the two types of request identifiers that Amazon Web Services uses. Now you're going to need these access identifiers, your secret access key and your access key ID, to be able to access your files. Now there is a lot to Amazon S3, but we can bypass all of it just by using the Firefox browser and a plugin. And I'm going to show you how to use the Firefox plugin and the browser together so that you can access your files and they can be viewed on the internet. Now, the first thing you're going to need is Firefox. If you don't have the Firefox browser installed, you need to install it now. Just go to mozilla.com/Firefox, and then you can download and install the browser. It's very self-explanatory. Once you got the browser installed, you're going to have to get the Amazon S3 Firefox Organizer. There's a link to that in the resources file. So all you do is come to here, and once you have Firefox installed, just click Add to Firefox, and then accept and install. Click Install now. And then a window like this will pop up. And then you have to restart Firefox. Just click the Restart Firefox button over here. And then it should reopen for you when it's done. After it restarts, when you go into Tools, you should now see here S3 Organizer. Okay, so at this point what we need to do is go back to our Amazon services and our access identifiers. In here you have your access key ID. So copy that, then open Notepad or somewhere where you can access it easily. Paste it in here. And then go back to your browser here, then click on Show underneath your secret access key. Grab that, and then paste that into your Notepad session as well, underneath the other one. Now go to your Amazon S3 Organizer, go to Manage Accounts, give it a name here. Doesn't matter what you call it. Paste your secret key down here. And paste your access key. In here. Click Add. Okay, so now you have S3 Account 1. Close that, and here we are, S3 Account 1. Okay, and then you have your own computer on this side, and you have your Amazon account on this side. Now Amazon folders are called buckets, so what you have to do here is create a directory, and your directory is your bucket. And inside here you will see some different things about the buckets. Okay, so what I'm going to call this is Store Videos. Now, of course, you can call them anything you want. And then I'm going to create another one called Public Videos. Okay, so then what I could do is find stuff on my computer on this side and upload it where I want over here. Now in my store videos, this would be stuff that I'd want for my own use. Now over here we have something called ACL, Edit ACL. So if we click on that, what we have here are our access control. And this is for each of our buckets. So in the current bucket, which is my storage bucket, I have everyone read, write, and full control authenticated users read, write, and full control, and owner read, write, and full control, which is what I want in the case of my store videos, because this is only for my use. So anything I upload here is simply storage for myself. Now, under public videos, if I go to the ACL, I'm going to want to edit this. So I'm going to want everyone to be able to read it. That way, if I have videos in there that I want people to be able to read, or I want people to be able to download files, I want them to be able to read it. Click OK, and that's how we set the permissions the way we need them. Okay, now I've selected a folder that I want to upload, and here's our buckets. And I'm going to upload this folder into public videos. So double click on that, and then what we'll do is we click on Tour, we right click, and we click Upload. Now what will happen is it will upload all of the files in the queue up into our bucket called public-videos. Okay, so our folder has now been uploaded inside of our bucket called public videos. Now here's something to be cautious of. Let's look at the ACL, access control level. Notice that it is not readable, and that is because, now we can set it here if we want. If we go to edit ACL, we could actually set it to be readable here, or what we could do, if we always want everything in this bucket to be readable by the public, and we could go into edit ACL, and then down here just make sure we have apply to subfolders checked and click OK. Now when we go in here, we'll see that it is readable, and all the files in here will be able to be read as well. Okay, so we've uploaded all of our video files here now. Now, to access it, we have to use a special URL to this one, and it will be our bucket name, public-videos dot s3.amazonaws.com/tour, and then /tour.html will be how we access this video. And just to make sure that works, we'll bring that up now. Actually, now let's clear this. We can clear the completed. Now I'll bring up a blank window here, and then we will paste the URL in there that we need to use. So the generic name is bucket name. So what you will use is the name of your bucket .s3.amazonaws.com/folder name/file name, and that's how you access files. I'm going to include all this in a document that comes with the video so that you know what I'm talking about here, and I'm going to show you in a sec here. Okay, it's now loading the video into the browser here. And as you can see, it's loading Camtasia Studio file in there, and that's how we get everything to work in our Amazon S3 account. Now let's just go over how to embed your video into an existing web page. Now for this last bit here, let's just look at how to embed the code into the HTML for an existing website. So here we have the code that came with this project on my computer here. So if we open this with Notepad, we can take the embed code out of here. See, you're just looking for simple embed code. So what we can do is just grab the simple embed code, do a copy, and we'll close this. I'm going to make a whole new web page here, but I could just pop that into any web page if I want. But I'm going to create a new web page. I'm just going to do it with Composer here. And go to Code, Source. And we'll just pop it right in here. And then all we have to do is put the new path to the files here. So our path is, remember, is the bucket name .s3.amazon.ws.com/tour/tour.html. Well, we don't want tour.html in there because we're not actually accessing the file. We're just accessing the directory. The files are inside the /tour directory. If we go back to our S3 here, we want the tour directory, and then our files are inside there. So let's go back to our website here, and let's get the URL to where the files are. And all we have to do is put in front of the file names our path. Okay, so just like that. And then we do the same thing here. And then we do the same thing here. So anywhere where it's referencing a file, where it has a source equals, that's going to be a file that we need to put the URL in front of so that it knows to access them there. I think I got them all here. Just zip across here. Okay, here's another one. Got too many slashes going on there. Okay, so anyway. Alright, so that's it. Just fix these slashes here that I somehow have too many of. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll save our web page here to our desktop. So we'll save that to our desktop. And now we will open that. And there it is. We've now embedded the video right into our web page. Click play and it should start to play. And you see that it is playing. Okay, so that's about all you need to know about using Amazon S3 to store your files and to have people be able to publicly access your files as well.
Okay, guys. Apparently some people had some problems with it. It seems like Firefox has problems with playing videos through this conference room. Firefox has gotten to be a really bloated piece of software lately, and it's kind of a bear to deal with. I know the school that I have a networking contract with, we've had to abandon Firefox, and they use Chrome over there now for everything. So I've had to get used to using Chrome, and I use Chrome for everything now. And Chrome doesn't seem to have a problem with most videos, but apologize for that for you guys that were on Firefox that didn't get to see it. But I'll have the original video that I was playing on the replay for you guys. Like I said, I've gotten several people ask about using Amazon S3 because I talk about it so much. And the reason why I use it is because most of my products anymore are heavy video or audio, or they're huge downloads. And I used to store all of that stuff over on my HostGator hosting account, and it just takes up so much room over there and clutters up the file system over there to where, it just gets to be a real ungodly mess after a while. So I started using Amazon S3 for storage and delivering of the audio and video and the large downloads. And what most people don't know is that you can get a free Amazon S3 account. You get, I think 5 gigabytes of storage for free. They don't even charge you for the first 5 gigabytes. And I think you get 5,000 requests per month, or it might be 1,000. I can't remember. It's either 1,000 or 5,000 requests per month. They don't even charge you for it. Now, even as much as I have stored there, I mean, I have a lot stored there. And my highest bill with Amazon S3, and I've been using it for going on 3 years now, is barely over $6 a month. So, it's just well worth it to me to have that storage space over there. And, you can use it as a backup too. A lot of people don't realize that you can use it just for, backup of files that you don't want to store on your computer, that you want to have access to, from, other places you might go to. And just recently, I started using Amazon SES, which is their mail service. And I've got that running on a couple of my domains now, where I have the Sean Donahoe, that Rapid Mailer plugin. I guess you guys remember that from a couple of months ago when that was released, and it was the hot thing to get to replace your autoresponder with. Just in the last month or so, I've switched over a couple of the domains that I have that plugin installed over to Amazon SES. And the reason why I did that is because one thing that Sean doesn't tell you about Rapid Mailer is that it's using your hosting account's mail server, and especially if you're on a shared server, you don't have a VPS account where you have a dedicated IP, but if you're on a shared hosting account, those accounts, those mail servers get abused, and they get reported as spam databases, and then your emails don't get delivered, especially to Yahoo and MSN. AOL's bad for it. Comcast is extremely bad. It's hard to get emails delivered to Comcast, no matter what you do. But the domains I had the Rapid Mailer installed, I noticed that not a one of the Yahoo addresses were getting delivered, and most of the MSNs weren't. So I started switching some of them over last month to Amazon SES just so they would get delivered, and it's worked out much better. I'm getting a lot higher open rates and click-through rates now when I use Rapid Mailer on those other domains. Now, it is a little trickier to set up. You have to go through some authentication with Amazon, verify that you are the domain owner and that you have your DNS set up right. But they walk you through the whole process. I mean, Amazon is really good about giving you all the information you need about getting set up with them. And another good reason why I use Amazon S3 is, especially if you're using WordPress as your main website, there are plugins you can get that will actually secure your downloads to keep people from sharing the links. So in the case of, let's say you've got, even if it's something free you're giving away and it's a large download and it gets shared out on some of the black hat sites or something like that, you can run up a pretty good sized bandwidth, chunk of bandwidth, and your hosting company will actually shut you down if you start using too much bandwidth with them. Even though they claim they're unlimited, they're really not unlimited, folks. If you start getting a lot of bandwidth traffic with your hosting company, they will warn you about it. I mean, I've got a VPS account and I've got a shared hosting account with HostGator, and the shared hosting account, they'll definitely warn me about if I start getting a lot of bandwidth traffic. But even on my VPS, if it gets to a certain point, I can't remember what the amount of transfer is now, but they'll send me an email letting me know, that my bandwidth is extremely high and that I need to check and see if there's, something going on, some sort of attack or whatever, some hacker or something been in there doing something. Even though they're not going to cut me off on the VPS, they send me warnings about if the transfers get to be really high. So that's why I moved about 3 years ago all of my stuff over to Amazon S3 that's anything video or audio related, because I can secure it over there and keep the links from being shared. And plus, like I said, it's just a lot more organized to have things over on Amazon S3, and it's dirt cheap, guys. Like I said, I've been using it for 3 years. My highest bill's not been over $6, and it's just well worth the effort of setting up an Amazon account. And like I said, if you get if you don't use a lot of bandwidth, you don't have a lot of stuff, The first 5 GB of storage is free, and you get so much transfer a month for free. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it's really liberal what they give you for the free account. Dana says, what do you use to play your videos on your sites? I've got one really simple plugin that I use. It's called S3 Player. It's a free plugin. I'll actually put the link to the plugin on the replay page for you guys that want to use it. But it's a WordPress plugin. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to use it, and you can use it on all your websites. Gary says, do you have to have Firefox to get the software to work? I'm not sure what software you're talking about, Gary. Dana says, if you send a video through S3 through HostGator site to be, because doesn't it use any bandwidth? What about if you have it play inside of a membership site? The initial page that it loads on, Dana, is using your HostGator's bandwidth. Whatever HTML code you're using there would actually be using your HostGator's bandwidth. But now once they start playing the video, the bandwidth actually comes from Amazon S3. It doesn't add to your HostGator bandwidth traffic at all. And the same with downloads. If it's a download link, if you're got a link to a large download, well, then that would come from Amazon S3 bandwidth as well. The initial, like I said, the page that you have the files linked to or the video linked to would be using your HostGator bandwidth. But anyway, like I said, I had a couple of people request a training on it, and I'm sorry that you guys that were on Firefox had problems watching it. I don't really know what to tell you there, other than I do know that Firefox is having a lot of problems here lately, especially since I think about version 24. When they did their version 24, they started getting really bloated with some of their code. And like I said, at the school where I have that networking contract, we had to leave Firefox altogether because it just wasn't working right. They do a lot of video over there on the school too, remote video, and it just wouldn't play them. So they started we migrated everything over to Chrome, and it's been a lot better for them. So I've had to use Chrome because of that, and because it's working there, I've just gotten used to it, and that's what I use now. Dana says, do you know anything about Cloudberry Drive? I just know it's another cloud server for storage. I've not used it. I imagine it's one of the better ones. You hear a lot about Cloudberry, but I've not used it myself. But I just know, it is one of the cloud storage systems. I don't know of anybody that I know of that stores any kind of video or audio there that they play from a website. So I couldn't tell you how well it works from that standpoint. But I do know people use it for, just general file storage. And of course, a lot of people use Dropbox as well. Now, I've never played video through Dropbox, but people tell me it will work, but I've never tried it, so I can't tell you exactly how that would work. But the thing about Dropbox is, there's no really good cheap accounts there. You get a free account with them, and it doesn't, it's good for just normal personal usage, sharing files out to your friends or coworkers. But when you get into the point where, like I am now, where you're selling products that are video or audio based, Dropbox won't work for you. It's just too limited, and to get the account that you would need with them is just too expensive. CB drives maps your drive so you can move files from one computer to S3 or wherever, drag and drop. Okay. There's actually several different WordPress plugins you can get will do the same thing. And there's also, I use a free S3 browser program that I use to manage my Amazon S3 account with. It's full functional. It only allows 2 connections at a time as far as when I'm uploading or downloading from it, maintaining the files. but they have a pro version that would unlock it and make it more. But I've never had to, the two connections that it makes at a time is plenty for me. I mean, in fact, just the other day, this past weekend, I uploaded a zip file that was 2.8 gigabytes to Amazon S3 using that program, and it took it about an hour and a half, I guess, to upload that 2.8 gigabyte zip file. But it was fine with me. I just let it sit there and run in the background while I did other things. It wasn't something I was in a big hurry to get it done. Otherwise, if it's something I had to have done in a hurry, I guess the pro version would have been better for it makes more connections. But there's several different plugins you can get for WordPress that work with Amazon S3, and then, like I said, there's several free programs that will run on your desktop that will maintain and manage your S3 accounts. Now, if you guys remember, was it about 4 or 6 weeks ago, Emailjeet came out, and one of the mail services it supported was Amazon SES, and I bought Emailjeet just to play with it and see if it was what they claimed it was. And of course, we all found out it wasn't. It wasn't a replacement for your autoresponder like they told everybody it was. But I played with the Amazon SES settings, and that's what gave me the idea to move my rapid mailer setups over to Amazon SES. And that's where I got my first experience with it, was experimenting with Emailjeet using Amazon SES. Now, one thing I will tell you about the Amazon SES, if you decide to use it, they are really, really particular about bounces and complaints. So you really want to have a good scrubbed list if you're going to use their mail services. And how you get a good scrubbed list is, first off, if you're coming from another autoresponder, they do the scrubbing for you. They'll clean out the bounces, and people that complain eventually will drop off your list. But if you don't have a list that's been scrubbed at all, the best way to do it is to use some sort of a autoresponder plug-in on your WordPress site or whatever, and load up that list and let it go through the first mailing or two so you can see whose email addresses are bouncing, and delete those people out of the list before you would migrate over to Amazon SES. Now, even at doing that, I mean, you're still going to get some bounces, and some people are just going to forget that they subscribe to your list and complain anyway. But as long as it's a really low number, and I forget what the percentage is, it's really low. I mean, it's not really low, but I think it's like, if you get 10 bounces out of 1,000, they'll send you a warning. And that's 1,000 emails that you send out. If you get 10 bounces, they'll send you a warning. And I've never gotten a warning yet, but like I said, I had my list scrubbed before I started using it over there. But like I said, I'm just now experimenting with Amazon SES, so I don't know how well that's going to work out. I've got one list that's 12,000 subscribers, I think, on it, and so far it's working out pretty good. I'm seeing the emails going to Yahoo addresses being delivered now, and I'm seeing open rates increase. So that's the reason why I've done it to start with, because using Rapid Mailer, I wasn't able to deliver to the Yahoo mail addresses at all. All right, so let's go over the questions that I got in the emails this past week, actually the past 2 weeks, and then we'll take your guys' questions after that. A lot of these questions came in about the time when I announced that I was going to be launching the MobiFire web version, so I got several questions about that up here at the very first of this. The first one says, I'm interested in doing the mobile apps, but wanted to know what's the best way to get started. The best way to get started is to concentrate on Android apps. Android is the easiest of the mobile apps to create and publish, and the reason being is that right now the Google Play Store is pretty much wide open. I mean, they monitor it as far as what gets published there, but they don't go through any kind of an approval process. So you can publish an app over on the Android marketplaces, most of them, not all of them, and they're live, within an hour or two. Now, Amazon has its own Android marketplace, and they do have an approval process. It may take 4 to 5 days for an app to get approved there. But the Google Play Store, it's pretty much instant. I say instant. It has to filter through. They have several databases that it has to filter through before it's actually live in their marketplace. And there's no approval process. So I recommend everybody start with Android, because everybody has a PC that you can work with, and it works with Mac as well if you're not on PC. But when you get into the iTunes and the web apps and the Windows version of apps, there's a little more involved in working with those apps. So, I recommend everybody start out with Android, because it's just much easier to get started with. The next question is again on apps. How many apps does it take to make a real income? And you gotta love questions like this. First off, I don't know what they mean by real income. All the income you earn from it is a real income. I guess they're talking about replacing some other kind of income that they have, but they don't really specify that. But here's the basic general thing with mobile apps. You're going to publish some apps that are going to be really popular, and they're going to take off and get lots of downloads, and the downloads will continue to increase, week by week, month by month. But then you're going to upload some apps that don't get any downloads. I mean, you might get 100 and they stop. You just never really know what's going to make an app go viral, and it comes down to really the content that you have in the app. If it's content that people are looking for, if it's entertaining, or it serves a purpose. It just comes down to the content, how useful it is. And then a lot of it depends on your marketplace listing too. If you use really good graphics, that draws people's attention to your listing in the marketplace, more people are apt to click on your link and read about your app and decide whether they want to download it or not, as opposed to somebody that has a bland listing that doesn't tell much about their app, or they have an image that's not very appealing, that doesn't stand out from the rest of them. So the marketplace listing makes a big difference in how popular an app will be. But some apps, you can upload some apps and they'll make $10 in the first month, and they'll seem to stay at that $10 and never go above it. But then you'll upload some apps that are really good, people like, and people start sharing with their friends and relatives or whatever over on Facebook and places, and it may snowball to that app makes you $100 the first month and $500 the next month. You just never know. And then sometimes apps will plateau at a point where they'll be popular for a while, and they'll hang at that point for a long time, and then they'll drop off, and something else catches people's attention or works better or whatever. It just depends on what it is, actually, what the app's about. And then you just have some apps that just never take off at all. I mean, there's just no real interest in that type of app. A good rule of thumb when you're wanting to create apps that you hope will increase in downloads and become popular is to follow trends. Go to Google Trends and see what people are interested in, and create apps around those hot, trending items. Anything to do with celebrities seems to do really well. You just have to be careful when you're publishing apps, to be careful with the copyright and trademark laws. Anything that's copyrighted or trademarked, you don't want to infringe on that in any way, because Google will come back on you, and they'll give you 2 warnings first, and they'll actually suspend your account and delete it after the 3rd warning. iTunes won't even approve them to start with. If they even suspect that it's too close to somebody else's copyright or trademark, they won't even approve it. So Amazon and iTunes are really strict about that, so you don't have to worry too much about warnings over there, because they're not even going to accept them to start with. But I don't know, I guess to answer the question about what's a real income is the hard part about this question. I don't know what they're considering a real income, but it doesn't take a whole lot of apps for you to start making a consistent income from it. I started out, when I first started out, I only had 10 or 12 apps published, and I was earning, $50 to $100 consistently every month from those 10 or 12 apps. Now I've got it scaled way up, and it's doing a whole lot better. But it's just, you never know. It just depends on the type of apps you publish, how many it's going to take. The next question says, which is easier to create, Android or Apple apps? That goes back to the very first question I answered. Android is much easier than the Apple apps. Apple, the iTunes marketplace makes you jump through a whole lot more hoops than Android does. And again, like I said, Amazon's marketplace, they have an approval process over there, and they're really picky about the apps over there. They want the quality to be real high on them. So Android is definitely easier. The Apple apps are probably more popular and probably will go viral a lot faster, if it's good content or something that's really entertaining. But it is a lot more to it to publish, over an iTunes marketplace than it is one of the Android marketplaces. The next question says, I bought the Black Friday WSO you had and wanted to know, am I allowed to use the Easy Deal Builder anywhere I want? And yes, you can. That was one of the unannounced benefits of that Black Friday sales. You did get a full working copy of Easy Deal Builder that you could put on any website you want and add any deals to it that you want. You don't have to use it just for the Easy Passive Sales system that I gave you with it. You could use it for any of your products that you want to sell, and it is a really good system. If you've not ever dealt with Easy Deal Builder before, it's a really nice system that they have, and you can set up deal websites with it. And that was one of the unannounced benefits of getting that WSO was you got a full working copy of Easy Deal Builder that you could put on any of your sites that you want to. So I felt like it was a good benefit. I couldn't come right out and say that in the sales copy. I wasn't allowed to say that, but the rights that came with it, the developer rights that I got with it, allows me to pass that on, but I wasn't allowed to say that in the sales copy. The next question was, would you consider setting up a membership site for me if I paid you? I'd love to do that for people, set up sites for them. I wouldn't have any problem doing it, but I just don't have the time. I stay so backed up with the stuff I'm working on now that, even if you paid me, it still wouldn't make a difference. I just don't have enough time in the day to work on other people's projects right now. I'm willing to help people get their projects going, but I can't do the work for them. Anybody needs help, I'm more than willing to jump in there and help them solve a problem or tell them what they need to do to get something working, that type of thing. But I just don't have time to take on other people's projects right now. I've thought about, doing some done-for-you membership sites, but I don't even have time to work on that right now. I'd like to be able to do that at some point, to create done-for-you membership sites for people, but I don't even have time for that. So I guess the short answer is no. Even though you'd pay me, that's fine. I just don't have time to work on other people's projects. And then the last one I got, and this is kind of a multi-part question, and it's basically on some of the programs that have came out recently for doing landing pages. And this one came from Bruno. Bruno was on our call tonight. I was looking at Landing Page Monkey when I got your email about InstaBuilder. They both seem to do similar operations, and I don't know enough particulars to know which one has the most best features. I know that some people promoting claim it to be an alternative to lead pages, which makes it attractive. I don't know if InstaBuilder has the capability also. What was your tipping point to go InstaBuilder versus Landing Page Monkey? And can InstaBuilder also be an alternative to lead pages? Okay, like I said, this is a multi-part question from Bruno. I guess first off, let's start off with the comparison between Landing Page Monkey and InstaBuilder. Landing Page Monkey is a program set up to create, opt-in pages, landing pages for you, a lot like what Lead Pages does. InstaBuilder does the same things as far as that goes, but it also creates, sales pages, membership site pages, and just other types of pages that you might want to use inside your website as well. It will do the same things that Landing Page Monkey does and Lead Pages does. It's a one-off program. It runs on your own hosting as opposed to where Landing Page Monkey is a web-based thing that runs off of Jeremy and Simon's servers. Lead Pages, as you know, is a server-based thing where you have to log into their server. The only two caveats to those is your landing pages with either Landing Page Monkey or Lead Pages is actually on somebody else's servers, which, that's not a big thing. Depends on how you're wanting to brand yourself. Whether, if you want everything to come from your domain, then the InstaBuilder, helps in the branding as far as that goes. But there's now some of the pages that Landing Page Monkey creates are great. I looked at some of those demos and they are really great. And the only reason I didn't go with Landing Page Monkey is because I knew InstaBuilder was getting ready to release version 2 and it was going to have all the same capabilities, so that's why I held off on buying it, and that's why I didn't promote Landing Page Monkey. I feel that InstaBuilder is going to be a better product than Landing Page Monkey. And really both of the programs, Landing Page Monkey and InstaBuilder, are both going to be replacements for Lead Pages. Both of them are real stiff competition for Lead Pages. Lead Pages is really suffering now because some of the really excellent programs have come out here lately to replace their service and what they charge monthly for. That's the one caveat I see to Lead Pages is they do have a monthly charge, and it is fairly expensive to have a Lead Pages account. I tried it for a little while and just couldn't see the benefit and the monthly cost of having them to do my opt-in pages for me and to store them for me as opposed to running software on my own sites that did the same exact thing. And let's see, the last point he asked, what was the tipping point to go to InstaBuilder versus Landing Page Monkey? And again, like I said, Landing Page Monkey is mostly set up to be a Lead Pages competitor, where its biggest draw is creating the opt-in forms and opt-in pages and landing pages, whereas InstaBuilder does that plus other things as far as creating sales pages, membership site pages, and all types of other things. So all of the programs are really good. There's nothing wrong with Landing Page Monkey. There's nothing wrong with Lead Pages. And of course, we're yet to see what InstaBuilder 2.0 can do yet. I know what InstaBuilder, the first version, did. All of them are great programs. They all, function really well on what they were designed to do. It just comes down to what your needs are, I guess. And I used InstaBuilder for a long time. I've migrated away from it now because it did become outdated once some of the other people caught on to creating those types of pages. There were other programs that came out, so I kind of migrated away from the original InstaBuilder. But InstaBuilder was the original program that came out that created those guru style pages that it's pretty common now. There's lots of different plugins and programs you can get that will create those pages now. InstaBuilder was the very first one to do that, was the instigator, I guess, for everybody to create those plugins and programs. So, that's my reasoning for waiting on InstaBuilder 2.0. I know it's going to be a really good product because Suzanne's other products have been good. I've bought every single one of the products she's came out with, so I know they're all good quality. And like I said, looking at the comparison of the features, it has some of the same or similar features that the other two programs have. So, and it's runs on your own domain. I like that. So that's another reason why I'm going to switch to it. I guess is because it does run from my own domain. I like to be able to have things branded to my own domains if I can. Okay, that was the last of my questions from the emails. Roy says you need to outsource a crew, Rick. You know, Roy, there is lots of things I like to outsource. There really is. But you know, what I found with outsourcing is unless you find an outsourcer that really wants to do the work, you spend more time training them, getting them, you know, used to what you're wanting to do and the way it needs to be done. And the next thing you know, they're off on some other project. Somebody else has offered them more money, and you go through that whole process again. You know, I hire VAs and outsourcers for several things when I've had something, you know, that's really repetitive that needs to be done over and over again. It's just going to take hours to do. I'll hire outsourcers and VAs for that type of thing. But just to maintain parts of my business, you know, it's just extremely hard to hire an outsourcer for that. Um, I have in the past tried to bring in partners to do that, and basically run into almost the same thing where it's just um, I don't know whether they lose interest or it's just too hard for them to maintain or what. But yeah, I'd love to be able to just hand over and say, you do all my opt-in pages for me. That would be great if I could do that. Tim says, how about Optimize Press 2.0 compared to the others? Well, Optimize Press 2.0 is a WordPress theme that has functions in it that do a lot of what the other uh, plugins and programs do. And like I said, it compares with the rest of them. I mean, there's other WordPress themes that, you know, that have the same capabilities in them too. The only thing I don't like about Optimize Press is that it doesn't have all of the features that some of these other programs and plugins have in it. And you know, they're working on developing it and adding it to it. So they're not saying that it won't ever be an Optimized Press. The other thing I don't like about Optimized Press, it is one of the prime targets for hackers. One of the first Optimized Press that came out, it really got, you know, attacked by the hackers trying to hack into your WordPress sites with it, and they found lots of loopholes. So, you know, I'm not saying that Optimized Press 2.0 is vulnerable. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it is a prime target now with hackers because they were able to get into the first version, so they really try a lot, really hard to get into Optimized Press websites. Mary says, what price will InstaBuilder be? They're doing a 1 hour early bird launch, and I'm not sure what the prices are going to be during that early bird. But I do know the initial launch, which is at 11, which is the public launch, it's going to be $37 for a 3-site license, and I believe either 47 or 67. I can't remember which now. I want to say 47 for the unlimited pro version. And then they're going to have a developer version, which means you can install it on websites you build for other people or websites you flip. That's going to be $77. And that's probably going to be the one I get, the developer version, because that's one of the things I want to get into in 2015 is building websites to flip. But like I said, they're having a 1 hour early bird launch, and I'm not sure what the prices are going to be during that. I've not heard anybody talk about that, what the prices are going to be during that 1 hour pre-launch. Dana says, what are your thoughts on the OTO Pro version of InstaBuilder, the funnels, split testing, and one-click to HTML? That's definitely an option I'm going to take, is the Pro version, to be able to do that. And one reason why I'm going to do that, Dana, is because during this launch, it's going to be a one-time price. After the launch, and I'm not sure, I think the launch is scheduled for 10 or 14 days. I'm not exactly sure how long the launch is actually scheduled for, but after the launch, the Pro version that does those things you're talking about won't be a one-time price anymore. It'll be a monthly charge. So that's one reason why I'm going to do that during the initial launch, is just to get it at the one-time price. Those features will be nice to have. I don't know how many of them I'll actually use. I'm sure I'll probably use the funnel part of it, I know. Split testing, I'll probably use some. The one-click to HTML, that'll be interesting to see. The one-click to HTML, that's one of the biggest caveats I have with WordPress to start with, is dealing with straight HTML and WordPress. Just they fight each other and it doesn't turn out right. I've used several different plugins for WordPress that's supposed to be able to take your straight HTML and turn it into a WordPress page, and none of them work exactly right. I've got one that I use that comes really, really close, but it's not drag and drop. It's not really easy to use, but it comes the closest of anything I've tried. And you know, there have been several of them that's come out here lately that's supposed to have been, the bee's knees, I guess what you call it. That WP Profit Builder, I got it and I just could not do anything with it. It just didn't do anything I wanted to do. I didn't get to try Thrive, so I don't know how well Thrive worked out. So I didn't get to try it, so I can't say anything about Thrive. It did look like it would do what I was wanting to do, but I didn't get to try it. So that'll be interesting to see that one-click HTML. I'm interested to see how that turns out too. But that's going to be the reason why I take it is because it's going to be a one-time price during this launch. After the launch, the pro version won't be a one-time price. It'll be a monthly charge. Jen says, what if you have a previous version? There is no upgrade path as far as I know, Jen. She's considering it a new major version launch, and there is no upgrade path. Now, there is, and I had this question come in just before the webinar tonight. Suzanne has been really good in the past about her products. If you bought, say, the entry-level product and wanted to upgrade later, that you could just pay the difference to upgrade to the later version, the next level version or whatever it is. In the past with her products, you've been able to do it, and I imagine she's going to do that with this one. I can't say that for sure, but I know with all of her past products, you've been able to do it. You've been able to buy the entry level to see if you like the program or the whatever, and then you could just pay the difference and upgrade to the next level. I'm hoping she will do that for this. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and get the developer version to start with, which is probably going to be the highest level anyway. But that's the way I understand that she's considering this a major version release, and there is no upgrade path from 1.0 to 2.0. I'm sure maybe if you contact her, she might work something out with you, but I can't say for sure she would do that either. Dana says this sounds like you can use the WordPress plugin to produce HTML pages for HTML sites, which could be useful. I still have a few HTML sites. I have a lot of HTML sites, Dana. Like I said, I've been asked this question before. I like WordPress in that I can get a website up really quick. You can have a WordPress website up and functional in 10 minutes. Once you've been through the process enough times, you can do a WordPress site in 10 minutes. But getting it to look the way you want it to look is the hard part. I'm much more familiar with straight HTML code. I can do things with HTML code that I can never get done in WordPress. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that turns out too, the one-click to HTML. I'm interested to see if that works out like they claim as well. Of course, watching some of the videos I've seen people doing, I didn't get a review copy, folks, in case you're wondering. I didn't have time to, well, I could have sent her an email and asked for a review copy, but I didn't have time to review it, so I didn't even ask her for one. And most of the time when they give you those review copies anyway, they're just for 1 or 3 sites or whatever, which would never serve my purposes to start with. Would have been good, to made videos for you guys to show you some demos of it, I guess, but I didn't have time to do this. That's why I didn't even ask Suzanne for a review copy. So I'll be buying it just like you guys are tomorrow. I'll be a customer just like you are. Okay, you guys I know you didn't get to watch, some of you didn't get to watch the video, but did you guys have any questions about the Amazon S3, the ones that did get to see it? Like I said, I apologize to you guys that were on Firefox that didn't get to watch the video, but I will have the original video on the replay, so you will get to watch it there. I highly recommend, if you're going to sell products online or even, just give away products that are video or audio based, to use Amazon S3. And here's another hint I'll give you on Amazon S3. You can load your images over there and have them serve your images. And the reason why you'd want to do that is some websites that you're going to create, you want really high quality images on it. And those real high quality images, take up quite a bit of bandwidth to deliver them. I've got some JPEG images on sales pages that are over 2 megabytes, and that's a pretty good size file to download, an image file that's 2 megabytes. If I had it on my regular HostGator hosting, it would take several seconds to download, even on my cable modem access, that's to the max, whatever Charter gives me. I'm not sure what they give me, but it's the max or whatever they give me. It still takes several seconds to load it. If I got it on my own hosting, I can put that same image over on Amazon S3, and in 1/4 of the time that it would take with my regular HostGator hosting, the image will be displayed on the web page. Now, for you guys that post WSOs, and you may have noticed this over on the Warrior Forum, a lot of the Warrior Forum WSOs now are just images. They'll actually create the WSO sales copy over in an image editor, and then cut the image up into 3 or 4 different parts, and they'll load those images over on Amazon S3. And the reason why they do that is because, let's say you have a WSO that's really popular, and it's getting a lot of traffic, making a lot of sales. If something happens with your server, which is really a high chance of something going wrong with your server, if you're getting a lot of traffic to it, the images won't load. So these WSO sellers put the images over on Amazon S3 so that traffic going to their main web servers don't affect the sales thread. The images will be displayed over on the sales thread because Amazon has the bandwidth and the servers to really serve those images and files out fast. So you'll see that a lot over on the Warrior Forum, that a WSO, if you try to highlight and copy the text on it, you'll see that it's an image instead of the actual text. But anyway, like I said, they give a free account. You can go over and try it out for free to see if it's going to work out for you. Once you start delivering a lot of video or audio, you'll see the benefit of using it. For a long time, for several years, I used my own HostGator account, and I'd get complaints from people saying that it was just too slow downloading, or the downloads would time out, and that's what convinced me to move over to Amazon S3, was getting complaints like that. And then, like I said, the organization of it was a big reason for me to move over there as well, because I hate having my website cluttered up and I can't tell what's where, even though it still gets that way. I have so many folders now, sometimes I see folders I don't even remember creating. But I think that's about it. Like I said, tomorrow you're going to see lots and lots and lots of emails about InstaBuilder. I encourage everybody to at least get the entry level product of it. You're going to like it. InstaBuilder, the very first one that came out, like I said, was the instigator for all of these other programs that came out and did the guru style opt-in pages. Suzanne was the very first one to create something that would create those pages for you, and everybody has copied that. So I guarantee you what she has in the InstaBuilder 2.0 is going to cause a lot of people to start developing other programs. So it's going to be worth having. Or says, do you store just videos and graphics on Amazon S3? Videos, audios, graphics, and zip files, especially zip files that are huge. Like that one I uploaded this weekend that was 2.83 gigabytes. That's a huge zip file. I could put that on my HostGator account and serve it from there. It's just that I would get complaints from people saying it was too slow downloading or timing out. Whereas if over on Amazon S3, a zip file that's that big, it's not going to have that kind of problem. And plus, like I said, the other reason for using Amazon S3 is you can secure the downloads to where people can't share the links. But it's videos, audios, graphics, and zip files is what I put over there. Do you use it only for big files? Not always. I'll put whole collections of files over there too, no matter what size they are, just to make sure, because again, another reason why I use it is for the organization. If you're going to put, parts of a product's downloads over there, you might as well put all of them over there. It'll serve up a 200 KB file as well as, a 200 megabyte file. So just to not have things split up and scattered everywhere. Yeah, I'll put the whole product over there, all the downloads. But of course, something that's small like that, if all of the files were small, I wouldn't worry so much about putting it over on Amazon S3, unless it was going to be a whole lot of them that was going to clutter up my web hosting. Then I would consider it just because of that. Okay, well, guys, if there's no other questions, we've been running just a little over an hour here. We'll go ahead and call it a night for tonight. Thanks for coming again tonight. I'm sorry we didn't get to have a call last week. Next week, we're going to have a special type of call, and I'll be sending out an email about it later this week. We're getting close to the end of the year, and I want to do something a little different for the end of the year this year. So I'm going to send out an email later this week asking some people some questions and getting some responses back. So next week's call is going to be just a little bit different from what we've been doing. But thanks for coming again tonight, guys. I apologize for you guys that didn't get to watch the video, but you'll get to watch it on the replay. InstaBuilder, like I said, I highly recommend it for all of you. At least get the entry-level product. It's going to be well worth the money. I'll just tell you that right now. InstaBuilder 2.0 is going to be well worth the initial price of getting the entry-level product. But have a great night, guys, and thanks for coming.